RuneScape 3's new player avatar face has been revealed. This is a continuation of the first blog they posted called Player Avatar Introduction. I made a video on that. Go check that out. They revealed the body in that one. Today we're looking at the face. Let's go into the blog and see what's going on. The new face of RuneScape. They start by specifying that the player avatar character model that they are updating involves the different genders you can choose between, hairstyles, top, legs, shoes, and facial hair, as well as the color variations that are available on each of these aspects. Those are the things they're mainly focusing on when updating the character. This is to clarify that they're not updating every single outfit and cosmetic in the game, but they are updating the player's kit. So if there's armor pieces where you can see the arms, you'll be able to see the new arms once this goes through. For example, with Bando's armor, where you can see the skin underneath the armor or on the arms, you'll be able to see the updated new arms and skin alongside the already existing model of the Bando's armor. And that's true for all armor like that. They say they've been busy at work since the previous update, and today they're ready to show us the face of the avatar. Here it is for both the male and female characters. Honestly, I think they look great. So much better than what we have currently. Let's have a close look at these two. There is so much more detail, but they've also still kept it quite simple. I do like the new hair. I feel like it really fits the style, personally. And I'm glad to see they're showing the female character today as well. They didn't do that last time. She's got a nice ponytail too. I like that hairstyle. You can see she has more eyeshadow around her eyes. His eyebrows are a bit thicker and more square. Ears might be a little bit bigger as well, and more defined jawline. Hers is more rounded and also more luscious lips, I would say as well. He is more of a triangle and slightly bigger nose, I would say, whereas hers is a little bit smaller and more rounded. And I think they both look really good. You can let me know what you think. And of course, before and after, I'm really glad that they provided us with these. Let's have a look. You can just see. Oh, that's so much better. Look at how many weird color changes there are here. So many strange edges. Oh, it looks so great. I'm so happy. I'm so happy with this change. And they even made this hairstyle. They made it look great. I don't necessarily know if it is the exact same hairstyle. I think it should be. It's just there's more hair going down on this side here that seems to overlap. But on this one, they've kind of parted the hair further down, which it doesn't seem like it is doing over there. Great changes. Oh, I'm so happy. You know, there's always a little worry that it's gonna look bad, you know, you never know. But this looks great. I'm so happy with this. Guy, she tells you not to worry about right here. And then here's the female look. Oh, it's so much better. I do think that the new one really captures the old one. And I think they've adapted the hairstyle fantastically too. Really like the transition that they've done over there. Little tuft of hair in the front here is nice. The style is a little bit different because you do see a little bit more forehead and covers the ear nicely with a little bit extra like on the side there. Oh, they fixed the pouty lip. They actually fixed the pouty lip, but I guess it's going upwards now. She does have a bit of a pout still, but I do feel like the pouty lip sort of differentiates it a little bit more from the male version. I guess the old one also did have more eyeshadow around the eyes, didn't it? And the eyebrow is still like the triangle as well. They've kept the style very, very similar, but just made it more detailed. And that's exactly how I would like them to do it. So yeah, great stuff. They say that they're still tweaking mainly the female's hairstyle and adding more texture and detail to that, focusing a bit more on the skin as well. They've been focusing a lot on the male version and they've started working more on the female one, which is now going to be their main focus. They'll also announce there's going to be an upcoming beta where you can jump in game to see these changes for yourself. They say that they wanted to show us these work in progress shots today already, so we're ready to jump in and have some expectations ready to go. That's going to be so cool, jumping in game, seeing the new avatar with all of your existing outfits and see how they managed to change the current outfits to match the new player avatar. And I'm sure they'd want feedback as well if there's clipping or if certain outfits have weird stretching issues, generally to get feedback like that, I imagine as well. Because there's so many outfits in the game, and having us jump in to try out our outfits would be a great way for them to find out which outfits have some issues before it goes live into the actual game. And they've announced a date as well. The player avatar beta will commence on Tuesday, May 5th. About a week and a half from now, you'll be able to jump in-game yourself and try out the new avatar. They say they're doing it on Tuesday rather than Monday because there's a public holiday on Monday, so they won't be in yet. Here they've got a shot of a bunch of player avatars standing in Wendelwick on Haven Heights. If we zoom massively in, we can get a very pixelated look at some of them. From this very pixelated image, I am excited, honestly. So I'm surprised they haven't given us an actual visual of the female character's body yet, because they only showed off the male one previously. Now we have a very pixelated version of it, but you can see all the comparisons though between the outfits from the male and female one. And you can see over here with this one specifically that the female does have a more slender look, whereas the male version is more boxy, you know. It does seem like they have the same stance for the females though, where their arms seem to be going out a little bit, like away from their body, sort of like a kind of masculine pose, to be honest. I'm wondering if they're planning on changing that or if they're going to be going with that still. That is how the female character stands in-game at the moment. It could also potentially have to do with armor clipping and having the arms far enough away from the body for example, tops and legs that are a bit more bulky though. If you're interested in butts, then we've got some butts here, both male and female butts. You can see both have some decent butts, if that's your thing. There's a lot of shine on that hairstyle. Yeah, that one probably needs a bit more work. But it's not an issue with all the hairstyles. You can see this one's more matte, this one too, and this one. Clearly they're still working on some of them, getting them refined. It's all work in progress still, of course. It's not planned for release yet, and the beta is also not the final version. They're going to still be continuing to work on this until it officially launches into the game. With that said, how does the female avatar compare to the golden standard? Merethiel was released 8 years ago in 2018, and people have been dreaming of the character model looking like this since about then. Now, it wouldn't look exactly the same because this is an elf. Here's the chat head for comparison. And I would say that there's more detail in this than there is in the new player avatar. They were saying that this is the chat head. They didn't show us the chat heads. They showed us the full models, which would be this one you would be comparing it to. Same with Anya, who just released with Havenheith. Her chat head looks like this. So again, can't really compare the chat heads because we haven't seen the player chat head, but this is her actual model in game. And so this is what you would be comparing it to generally, and then like the rest of her as well. I think there is something to be said that if you feel like the new player avatar has less detail than these characters, it's probably for performance reasons. These characters would only be on the screen one at a time, right? There could be 30 or 40 player characters on the screen, so it would make sense for those to be slightly less detailed. That's just something to consider at least. Alright, we got some beta details. So the aim of the beta. This is your first opportunity to see the new player avatar for yourself before it launches. You will be able to provide in-game feedback on your experience of the beta, and they're keen to hear our thoughts on it as well on feedback threads. And of course, they'd also love to hear whether you encounter any glaring technical issues or spot any inconsistencies with the new avatar when it applies to your character, like I said. The beta is going to be happening on a dedicated environment in the Wendelwick Town Square, like we saw in the picture above, likely the 3 characters in the middle of the square, and you'll be able to talk to them to provide feedback. I'm wondering if they'll open up like a feedback form or if they'll just have multiple choice options for you. We'll have to see. A legion of NPCs will be standing in the town square dressed in various character creation outfits. Those are the ones you choose when you make your character initially. Thessalia from Varrock will also be present, allowing you to change your personal base outfit, and the makeover mage will also be present, allowing you to change your body type and skin color. They also specify that you'll be able to log in with your own in-game character, and they will be wearing the new base kit of whatever you're wearing. They also strongly recommend that you unequip your items, both cosmetics and what you're wearing, so you can look at the base kit, because I guess that's the main focus here. They want feedback on the base outfit and how that looks, as well as the body, I suppose. This will be your chance to see what your character will look like in the new system, and they say the goal here is that players should notice a sensible transition from their old avatar onto the new one, and the model aspect should feel the same but look better. They say that not every single aspect of the old avatar is being moved over to the new system, so things might look slightly different. Maybe there are some details that aren't there anymore. Maybe a belt that was there before is gone and stuff like that, you know, but generally the feeling is that it should stay the same for the most part. In this beta, both the male and female avatar will be included. All clothing and hairstyles that the Avatar project will launch with will be included, though some of the animations may still be improved before the launch. The vast majority of item overrides will look the way they do in the beta once it launches, but there may be some small changes to better make them fit. Do let me know what you think of the player avatar rework as well in the comments below. I am excited to jump in and see what Rainy will look like with the updated avatar. Let's see what other people are thinking. I'm recording this a bit early today, so there's not tons of comments yet, but do jump in and leave your feedback as well. The initial reaction of the update about an hour in is very positive, 94%. In regards to the male, massive leap, looks pretty good. One critique, the hairstyle looks a bit clay-like, which has been an ongoing issue with new graphics. This was massively improved though with the new rock texture they released this year. You got rid of the Dan and Phil fringe, but in all honesty though, it looks amazing. Looks amazing, looks better, especially the hair and face. And then in regards to the female face, I will miss my character having perpetual dark eye circles, like they have the same lack of sleep I do, but it looks nice. Bangs are maybe the most important part to get right, but it looks great so far. One person asking if the bodies are the same as the 2021 version. I don't believe they are, but they say they weren't a fan of the female avatar shown off in the past. That's one thing I would say too. I would like to see a closer up of the female body because we haven't done that yet. We've only seen the male one. I feel like it's a little bit strange that we don't get to see that one before in a blog, but I guess we will be able to see it once the avatar beta goes live, and maybe that'll be the time to give feedback on it. Looks very promising. I like both the previews. Something they also appreciate a lot. These designs feel very faithful to the existing current designs. Compared to the previous one in 2021, I believe, these ones look like the same person rather than a complete reimagination of what the character could look like. These actually have the same proportions, similar hairstyles, everything looks the same but better, I would say. And this person also echoes that more facial customizations would be cool. Maybe not for release, but further down the line. Japanese Squirrel says, for the female specifically, the bangs matter a lot. Needing to get those right is important. The rest of the hair can be amazing, and the deal breaker for most people will be the bangs. They're also pushing for bangs being customizable separate from the rest of the hair. I don't feel like that will happen, but I do agree with them that having nice bangs can make or break a hairstyle. So in the sample image, the female head before and after uses the half up, half down hair, and their avatar mains the one on the left. They dislike the middle parting of the bangs. So yeah, I think getting that bit the exact same as before is very important. I agree with them. And yeah, I did notice on this one that they've middle parted it rather than, I guess, the side part is what they have before at the moment. It just looks like it goes straight across, but maybe even as little as just adding an extra tuft in the middle there, just so it's not middle parted, would be enough to fix it, because there is a tuft in the middle in the original one. It is small details like that that people will be looking out for. Oh my god, okay, it's happening. Everyone stay calm. It's actually happening this time. I'm so excited. Thank god, perhaps I can finally start considering headgear that doesn't have full head coverage to hide my player's ugly face. Floppy pointy wizard hats are back on the menu, boys. Will hairstyles be made gender neutral? Hell yeah. I like this progressive attitude. I think they are in old school, actually. So bringing that to RuneScape 3, why not, right? The before and after images look amazing. Huge props to all the artists working hard on this. Progress is far better than I expected. Genuinely looks better than I expected. Excited for the beta. Holy heck, the player faces look great. Cannot wait for these officially launching. One comment here saying they look a little bit more cartoony versus what the RuneScape was before. They were leaning more towards this one where, frankly, the player avatar looks completely different. Also, I don't know why they compared the male one to the female one. That's a little bit weird. Will eye color be customizable? You can change them with the gaze effects in the wardrobe, but it's not really a solution. It makes your eyes glow. It doesn't really change them. I've been waiting for this for years. The faces still look gamey, but it's so much better than the current one. They still say RuneScape, but way more modern. Heroic, generic, faithful, and handsome at the same time. Excited for the beta. As a whole, they look great. However, as a female player with a female character model, I'd like to be honest and say that the current female mouth looks a little bit too pouty and unnatural. I noticed that too, yeah. Like her upper lip kind of goes up like that, you know? The edges of her lips are upturned a bit. I don't know if that's to differentiate it more from the male. She does look quite pouty. I do agree. It's not really my place to comment on what the female character should look like. The female players who use those should be the ones to give the actual feedback, I think. But yeah, I did notice that there was a lot of pout too. Would you be able to show us some previews of the facial hair options? Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't do that since they were showing off the face today. Though in saying that, I don't imagine there's going to be too much variety in the faces as in like structural changes. It'll mainly be the beard because currently you can't change like the jaw style at all either. It could potentially be an avenue they could look into later down the line. I don't think that's part of the current plan though for the release. This player asks, does this mean most of the outfits that have skin attached will now use the new model? It does, yes. That's exactly what they've been mainly working on. That's been the majority of the work, to detach the old extra skin that's been connected to certain outfits that wasn't even necessarily your skin. It was just added to the outfit itself. I go through all that in the previous video about the player avatar rework. Go check that out. But they've been detaching all that so that the new player avatar's arms will essentially go through the outfit. And so you can see your new arms despite the outfit being the original style that you already know from in-game. So short answer, yes, you will be able to see the new skin. Please make it possible for female characters to also wear male hairstyles. I completely agree, that should be a thing. Same with outfits. Might be a little bit difficult with outfits. I mean, specifically for the tops, because suddenly you've got like an outfit that has like, you know, chests. Proportions might not match with the female and male heads, might connect at different spots. Like many have mentioned, you've really managed to capture the essence and feel of the old faces while simultaneously giving them a significant facelift. Sorry, I'm not sorry. Facelift, yeah. Feel like the male avatar jawline is a little bit too sharp. Hairline seems rather high too. That could be down to which hairstyle you're using, of course. Before after pictures look great. As someone who plays zoomed out, I hadn't realized how janky the character looks at the moment. Oh my goodness, they look incredible. I think they've got the essence perfect. There's just small tweaks here and there that people might have personal choices that they would like changed a little bit. Do jump into discussion and leave your feedback. We've got another blog that I will quickly cover today. I didn't feel like it was enough to cover on its own, so I'm kind of happy they released another one. It's the quarterly check-in survey results, and it's more like fun facts about who plays the game and what people are excited about. So if you're interested in that, hang around. So essentially, Jagex did a survey, I think in February, March, asking what people are excited about, how long they've been playing, and stuff like that. And we've got some stats here. So at the moment, the people playing RuneScape are vastly in the 26 to 35-year-old range. If you're in that range, congratulations, you're in the majority of players. Which means that I'd say a large majority of the player base have grown up with the game, probably started playing when they were around like 10, 15, and so they'd find themselves in the 26 to 45 range. We've also got account age here, where a little over a third of players are in the 16 to 20-year-old account range. And under that is actually people starting this year, which is really cool to see. 16% of players have started their account this year. If you're one of those people, welcome in. And after that, there's a general spread between like 1 to 2 years and all the way up to over 20 years, all of those being around 10%. In the survey, they also asked what people enjoy playing the most. And to no surprise, 56% says MMORPG, and of course also connected to that, RPGs, role-playing games, but then specifically single-player ones. It's also a really high number. There's then a drop down to 40% for action and adventure games, and about similar to sandbox and open world games, shooters, FPS games, and then survival crafting is also in that tier area. And that's interesting because Dragon Wilds encompasses this general area right here. It's a sandbox open world game with survival and crafting mechanics. Could say it's an adventure game as well in some ways, and of course an RPG as well. So they've really captured the top game genre preference in Dragon Wilds, which is neat. In comparison to their previous projects, which were, I would say, sort of in the simulation management with their idle game that they tried releasing, RuneScape Idle Adventures, which never left beta or alpha. That one's all the way down to 26%. And then, of course, the other one, RuneScape Chronicle, their card game battler, which also didn't last very long before they pulled the plug on it, is actually all the way down here at the very bottom. So I don't feel like their current demographic would have ever gotten those games to survive because, I mean, there's just not a lot of interest in the current player base for those kinds of games. 10% of people are into card and deck battling. So it's been good to see Dragon Wild doing so much better though. It's very cool to see. In the survey, they also asked what people are most excited about this year. And number one is Haven Heights Part 2, which is cool. Haven Heights Part 1 blew the update out of the water. I thought it was great. So much fun to do and explore. Can't wait for the second part, which will also be high level content. So a lot of the more veteran players would obviously be more excited for that too. Secondly, it's remastered content like the upcoming changes to dungeoneering, refreshing older content to feel more modern and up to date. And then thirdly, player avatar right here. Breaking even with the player-owned housing 120 construction update coming this summer. People are very excited for both of those too. And honestly, there's a lot of things to be excited about. And then, of course, they also asked about the Road to Restoration updates, what people like the most about those. Number one spot right here is the API plugin support, which is also my most anticipated update from the Road to Restoration, joint with the Grand Exchange improvements, which we'll hopefully get more information about soon. And then followed on second place with visual updates and declassification decluttering. For this one, you could think what they did with the south of Falador, for example, removing a lot of the unnecessary buildings and stuff that don't need to be there and kind of refurbishing the area. They made a beautiful forest south of Falador, so I'm really looking forward to seeing more decluttering as well. And then thirdly, the end game balance joined with mid game balance. So it's good to see that game balancing updates are still very high in the priority and anticipated by players. They've also announced the next double XP event. So they're only doing 2 of those this year, down from 4 from previous years. This has to do with them wanting to tone back all the people hoarding resources for specific times in the year. They don't really like that, and I agree with that. So they're reducing it to 2 double XP events per year. The first one this year is coming up. Firstly, though, they asked how much people interact with the double XP events. And about 28% of surveyed people said that they interact with every single double XP event, 31% do most of the double XP events, and then 22% did some of the events, and then a very low amount of people said that they either rarely or never do them. So some people generally interact with the double XP somewhat, but they might not be there for the entire one, or sometimes they might skip the events. Having less double XP events may increase engagement in them because people will feel like, oh, I should jump in because it's only happening 2 times a year now. It felt like they were always happening before, so it's good to see that change. There may be people who don't want them at all as well, and I can see the appeal in that. I remember back in my day, there were no double XP events. But I also remember how exciting the first ones were. Though there was no cap on the first ones and it only lasted the weekend, so you were just going all weekend. It was crazy. The way double XP events work at the moment is you get 48 hours of double XP and it's spread over 10 days. So you get 2 whole weekends and 1 week where you can spend those 48 hours. You can also pause the timer in-game if you want to do something else where you're not skilling, for example, or training your skills. And then you can unpause it again, though there is a time limit of an hour before you can pause it again. You can't just keep pausing and unpausing it constantly. You have to use some of it. But it is very casual friendly now. I don't believe it works for Ironman accounts, however, and free-to-play get a smaller boost than members do. But yeah, 81% of players responded saying that they do participate in at least some of the double XP events. They also asked if players were satisfied with double XP events, and 64% said that they are satisfied. They say that they want to continue tweaking double XP a little bit to just get it to be in the right place with the new integrity changes. You can leave your feedback about what you think of double XP weekends as well, or weeks rather. They have some changes going forward that aren't necessarily taking effect this time, but for the next double XP event towards the end of the year. So they say that the length of the upcoming double XP event will still remain the same of 10 days covering 2 weekends. You have a total of 48 hours of double XP that can be used during those 10 days, and you are able to pause the time to engage with other pieces of content if you want to without your double XP going down. They are, however, removing the daily login incentive to reduce the FOMO of logging in every day during the event, and that is in line with their RainyScape reduction, so I like this change. You were able to log in every day to get some microtransaction items before that would help you level up, so that little track is gone now. Double XP tokens can still be earned, but they will be removed after this event. The double XP tokens is something you get for using protein items, microtransaction items, and skilling during double XP events. And in this store, you could buy things like microtransaction items, some skilling outfits, I think bonus experience also. So they want you to use up whatever you have of this during this event, because the next one later in the year, there will be no double XP tokens anymore, and the shop will be gone. So if you have tokens, make sure to use those during this event. There will also be a smaller amount of items in the store this time around for the double XP tokens, generally reducing the amount of microtransaction items that are tied to overpowered skilling. And so here they say double XP token store will be retired and closed forevermore at the end of the event, so please make sure you use your tokens before it does close. They're mainly closing this because it created play patterns that are not positive for the long-term health of the game. For example, we don't want players to feel like they need to wait for double XP events in order to obtain certain items through the store. Items in the store like skilling outfits that they want to stress can be unlocked in-game as well through other methods. This is not the only source of them. Will still be available in the store until it closes. They are aware that for some people it might be easier to get them through the double token store. Do join the discussion and leave your feedback about if you feel like skilling outfits should be changed in some way to make them easier to unlock. I don't have any opinion on this because I never got them through the double token store anyway. I had them beforehand, so I haven't interacted with the store to get the outfits myself. They will be converting the double XP tokens into GP at the end of the event, but I imagine it might be like a 1-for-1 kind of deal, so you'd probably only get like 100k if you had 100,000 tokens. I wouldn't hold on to them for that reason. And then they also here announced the spring double XP event will be on May 10th, which is the week following the player avatar beta starting. They also say they're planning to do another survey sometime in June to continue getting feedback in a similar vein to this one, so keep your eyes peeled for that. As for opinions on this post, it's also very positive, 92%. Some people have commented about different outfits that they would like to see change a little bit. For example, the Dungeoneering outfit is very slow to obtain. They are looking into rebalancing Dungeoneering token acquisition during the Dungeoneering Remaster update that's coming out this year. So that would probably be a good time to address the outfit if they haven't done so already. Here's a person who has come from old school recently and started playing a group Iron Man since February. They say that for Artisan and Fletcher outfits, they tried joining the minigames during Spotlights, but ended up having to join a specific Friends chat Discord to find events that they were hosting because nobody was playing the minigames. The Botanist and Factory outfits, they found those minigames fine, and the Botanist outfit was the right price. Factory outfit was a little bit expensive. They don't have the Hunter outfit set yet because it requires the arc, I guess. Blacksmith feels a little bit pricey. They enjoyed the mining and smithing gameplay loop though. For Farmer, they did Face Punch Bonanza during Spotlight. That's a minigame. Didn't mind the grind, but it's definitely time consuming. For Lumberjack, they ended up maxing all of the levels of the companions for temple trekking before they got the set. Probably better to copy the old school RuneScape way of guaranteeing pieces at the bridge event. I thought they were guaranteed, unless it's never been guaranteed on RuneScape. Been too long since I got it myself, I can't remember. For the Shaman outfit, they got it from the weekly Distraction and Diversion. You can also now get it through Haven Height by training summoning there though. For fishing, they like the minigame and don't think that is too bad. Would be nice if the timer between games was shortened though. For Black Ibis, it seems to be pretty quick to get after the changes to early game thieving. Seems fine but isn't very fun to do. And for Ritualist, they found it weird that Necromancy had a skilling outfit but opted to just not go for it, because the ectoplasm price was quite high, especially for Iron Man players, and I agree it was quite expensive. Everything else though they found very reasonable and in a good spot. Honestly, it's a good comment to see what a newer player feels about the balancing on those things. So it's definitely something they could take into consideration. This person says the Hunter outfit seems too daunting to obtain normally, considering the arc is associated with very high skilling level requirements. And it is definitely aimed at 90+. It depends where in the gameplay loop you want people to unlock the outfit. And I feel like a lot of them at the moment are in the 80+ area. And I mean, at that point, you are starting to need more experience. So it is a small boost at that point, but maybe people should be able to get them earlier. I don't entirely know. Lumberjack and Factory outfits are the worst offenders. Lumberjack is basically very RNG though. Yeah, it could be really fast, it could be really slow. It depends how lucky you get with the bridge event on temple trekking. Cobra says the Black Ibis was changed with the thieving update a couple months ago and it's now very reasonable to get. One question about the double XP event, is this the last one where microtransaction items can be used? No, there is another one later in the year where you can also use microtransaction items that you might have from before. Likely September area, somewhere around there. But this one and the next one will be the last times we can use those microtransaction items before they are removed next year. I mean, you can use them all year around, but if you want to use them for the double XP events, then you would have to use them during one of these two. Will Vic the Trader be back at all? Nobody knows where Vic went. Vic lets you take bonus experience from one skill and move it to a different skill. I don't think it's 1-to-1. Can't remember the conversion exactly, but they removed all methods of using him. So people are like, how do I move my bonus XP now? I don't think there's a way you can actually do it. And I have never seen a single comment respond to any of those messages. Can we get a treasure hunter use it before you lose it filter in the bank? Excellent idea, Mod Anvil says. And I'm glad he says that, but I would like a developer to confirm it too, because otherwise it might not be happening. But it would be nice to have that. I agree. I need it because my bank is a disaster zone. I think a lot of people can relate to that. Hot take, get rid of double XP events and make skilling feel good all year round. I mean, some people like jumping in. Maybe they don't play as much during the year, so they would like to jump in. I don't have a strong opinion on double XP events. Like, I use them when they have come around, but I wouldn't hate it if they disappeared. Like, I don't really care if they're there or not, personally. There are relatively good methods to get experience in most skills. I'd say that agility might be one that's kind of a pain still, but generally most skills have some good ways to get a lot of experience. Don't say Silverhawk boots for agility either. It's not actually a skilling method. It's just a band-aid fix to make agility not suck so much. I would like to see maybe even Hollowed Sepulchre for RuneScape, or you could even incorporate other skills with agility to make a sort of like an obstacle course where you're skilling along the way. Agility needs some love. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. I'm super excited for the avatar beta. Make sure you jump in on May 5th to see what your avatar will look like. Until next time.